Albert Camus was a French-Algerian novelist, playwright, journalist, essayist, philosopher, and revolutionary who lived during the 20th century. Among his most renowned works are The Stranger, The Plague, The Myth of Sisyphus, The Fall, and The Rebel. His writing earned him the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1957. Camus stands as one of the central figures of the philosophical school known as absurdism, a philosophy that explores the conflict between human beings' relentless search for meaning and a universe that offers none. Humans are meaning-making creatures. We seek patterns, purposes, and truths, yet the world we inhabit is chaotic, indifferent, and often silent in the face of our existential questions. This fundamental dissonance results in the experience of the absurd, a confrontation between our need for understanding and the universe's refusal to provide it. Thus, life, in a cosmic sense, is meaningless. But unlike nihilism, which may leave us in despair, absurdism offers a way to live with this truth by embracing it. While both absurdism and nihilism accept the lack of inherent meaning, absurdism encourages us to rejoice in that very fact, to create our own meaning, and to fully live in the face of the absurd. Camus suggested that there are three main ways we respond to the absurd: suicide, faith, and acceptance. Suicide in this context is a physical escape from the absurd. Faith is a mental or emotional escape, a leap into irrational belief to avoid the discomfort of meaninglessness. But both are evasions. They do not resolve the central conflict between our longing for meaning and the world's indifference. The only authentic response, Camus argued, is acceptance. Acceptance leads to personal freedom. Once we stop chasing external meaning, we can begin to create our own. Even in a meaningless universe, life is worth living. We are here, now. We have the power to enjoy life, as it is. To help you embrace this idea, here are 7 ways to make the most of the present, drawn from the philosophy of Albert Camus. 1. Have a motivation for living. Camus once posed the ultimate existential question: should I kill myself or have a cup of coffee? In The Myth of Sisyphus, Camus declared that the only truly serious philosophical problem is suicide. When we wake up to a world filled with negative news, reminders of past regrets, and feelings of despair, it can be tempting to question the value of life. But choosing to get out of bed, brew coffee, and go on with your day is itself an act of rebellion. It's a statement: I will keep trying. Take life one step at a time. Savor each moment. Be patient with your journey. Accomplishing your dreams takes time, and moving slowly prevents you from slipping into despair. Even when life seems bleak, there is always a glimmer of hope to hold on to. If you think it's too late for your dreams, say you wanted to be a football player but now use a wheelchair, you can still find meaning. Perhaps your new purpose lies in making others' lives better. Volunteer, donate, mentor. Even small acts of kindness can become powerful motivations to keep living. Number 2, be yourself at all times. Camus said, "Man is the only creature who refuses to be what he is." Too often we allow others to define us. We shape our lives to fit into molds built by society. But to truly live in the present, Camus tells us to reject this urge to conform. We must reclaim our individuality and rebel against imposed norms. This message is even more critical today. Social media pushes us to curate images of ourselves that others will like, even if they don't reflect who we truly are. Camus invites us to become more self-aware, to spend more time watching the sky than scrolling through a screen. Stop living based on others' expectations. You are not your job title, your achievements, or your appearance. All these are tied to the absurd structure of society. Rebel by being authentically you. If your company throws a party you don't want to attend and it's not mandatory, don't go. Spend that evening doing something meaningful to you. Break norms when they don't align with your values. Be real. Be yourself. 3. Live intensively. Live to the point of tears. Albert Camus. To live intensively, in Camus' terms, is to embrace life with a sense of urgency, depth, and emotional fullness. This doesn't mean chasing constant excitement or thrill, but rather feeling deeply, acting passionately, and committing to a life worth living, even in the face of absurdity. According to Camus, the absurd arises from the clash between our desperate need to find meaning and the universe's indifferent silence. Most people respond to this contradiction by turning to religion, distraction, or despair. But Camus offers a third way. Accept the absurd and live all the more fiercely because of it. This kind of life demands intensity. It asks that you throw yourself wholeheartedly into whatever you do. It's not enough to live passively, just going through the motions. If a universe doesn't give us meaning, then we must create it through action. Through passion, relationships, creativity, struggle, and joy. Living intensively means setting goals that challenge you, inspire you, and stretch your limits. Camus wouldn't advise you to merely be good at something. He'd urge you to pursue excellence, not because it gives cosmic meaning to life, but because it makes your time here vivid and worthwhile. If you're a doctor, strive to be the best doctor you can be, not for fame, but because healing others is a powerful human way to rebel against the chaos. This kind of existence also involves vulnerability. When you live to the point of tears, you open yourself up to emotional risks. You love fully, you grieve deeply, you laugh until your stomach hurts. You allow yourself to be moved by beauty, touched by loss, shaken by awe. These moments don't make life easier, but they make it richer. For Camus, this is the rebellion that counts. To find joy where none is promised, to create meaning where none is given, and to live fully, intensely, even in a world that offers no answers. 4. Live like a rebel. The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. Albert Camus. Camus believed that freedom isn't simply a right granted to us by law or custom. It's something we must actively claim, defend, and live by. In a world full of absurdities, contradictions, and injustices, to live authentically and freely becomes an act of rebellion. For Camus, rebellion is not a call to anarchy or destruction. It's a moral stance, a conscious refusal to bow to systems, expectations, or ideologies that deny human dignity. Rebellion begins when someone says no. No to injustice, no to fear, no to blind obedience. And through that no, a powerful yes to life, to truth, and to integrity is affirmed. Camus lived his rebellion not with violence, but with words and courage. During World War II, he joined the French resistance, writing for the underground newspaper Combat, exposing tyranny and defending human rights. He also criticized the French colonial regime in Algeria, despite being French-Algerian himself, alienating both nationalists and colonists. For Camus, rebellion was personal, principled, and relentless. To live like a rebel today doesn't require fighting in wars or leading revolutions. It may mean speaking up when something is wrong, even if you're the only voice. It means choosing your ethics over comfort. If your employer demands something unethical and you comply out of fear, Camus would say you're not free, you're a slave to convenience. Being a rebel in Camus's sense means always carrying your values with you. Pay attention, stay grounded, be present with your whole self in each situation, and don't let fear override your morality. You're not just a cog in a system, you are a human being with reason, courage, and autonomy. True rebellion is living freely in a world that pressures you to conform. It's resisting injustice not out of hate, but out of love for life. Camus believed that only through rebellion do we affirm our humanity and maintain our dignity in an absurd world. It's through this resistance that we truly live, not just exist. 5. Focus on practical things. I had only a little time left, and I didn't want to waste it on God. The Stranger, Albert Camus. In The Stranger, Camus' protagonist, Meursault, is a man stripped of illusion. He does not mourn in expected ways, nor does he conform to society's emotional script. This radical honesty disturbs others, but that's exactly Camus' point. Meursault refuses to lie to himself or pretend life is anything more than it is, finite, fragile, and absurd. When Meursault is sentenced to death, he doesn't turn to faith, hope, or redemption. Instead, he embraces the world's indifference and accepts his fate. This, for Camus, is a powerful act of clarity. Camus believed that faith is a form of philosophical suicide, not because he had disdain for believers, but because he saw blind faith as an escape from the responsibility of thinking and acting clearly. To have faith in something that can't be proven is to abandon reason in favor of comforting illusions. Camus invites us instead to remain grounded in reality. Life is short, our time is limited, so why waste it speculating about the afterlife or hoping for divine intervention when the problems in front of us require our immediate and practical attention? Take this example. If someone you love is gravely ill, Camus wouldn't suggest you sit idly, praying for a miracle. He'd tell you to act, to seek out the best doctors, to research treatments, to comfort the person, to be fully there, doing something tangible. Practical action is a form of revolt against the absurd. It is how we create meaning in a meaningless world, by being present, being responsible, and doing what we can. Camus' call to focus on the practical doesn't deny emotion or spirituality. It simply emphasizes that meaning must be forged here and now, not deferred to a higher power or another life. We shouldn't numb ourselves with false hopes or dwell in abstract philosophies that remove us from the moment. Instead, we must live with our eyes open, face what is, and act accordingly. Life is short. Deal with it directly, accept its rawness, and find strength in doing what is real, what is within your power, here and now. 6. Accept the unpredictability of life. You can't create experience, you undergo it. Albert Camus. Camus knew firsthand the unpredictability of life. Born into poverty in colonial Algeria, he rose to intellectual prominence, fought for freedom in the French Resistance, and then died suddenly at just 46 in a car crash. His life was filled with unpredictability, struggle, and abrupt turns, and that's exactly what he wanted us to understand. Control is an illusion. We like to think we can map out our lives, make 5-year plans, and know what tomorrow brings. But the truth is, tragedy can arrive uninvited, plans collapse, people change. Camus believed that the only sane response to this is acceptance, not passive surrender, but a kind of philosophical poise. Accept that life will not go as planned. Accept that you will not always be rewarded for your efforts. Accept that chaos and randomness are a part of the deal. Rather than resisting this reality, lean into it with clarity. Start by understanding what you can and cannot control. Make 2 lists. On one side, write what is within your power, your effort, your focus, your values. On the other, list what's beyond your reach, others' opinions, future outcomes, the passing of time. This small act of separation is liberating. When you realize that your control is limited, you can stop wasting energy trying to master the uncontrollable. Instead, you can invest yourself fully in the areas where you can actually make a difference. For example, if you're preparing for an exam or a job interview, focus on your preparation, on studying, practicing, and refining your skills. Don't obsess over whether the examiner will like you or if the hiring manager had a bad day. Those outcomes aren't yours to command. Camus invites us to live not by fear of the future, but by full presence in the moment. To undergo life, as he says, is to let go of false security and experience things as they come: joy, pain, beauty, failure. And in doing so, we become more resilient, more aware, and more alive. Let go of control. Embrace the unknown, experience life directly with openness and strength. That is the beginning of wisdom and the heart of freedom. 7. Find happiness in every season of life. Camus wrote, "Autumn is a second spring when every leaf is a flower." In The Misunderstanding, a play steeped in absurdism, Camus illustrates that life is impartial. It doesn't reward goodness or punish evil. We all move toward the same end, regardless of the path we take. Our society worships youth and beauty, spring and summer, but autumn too has beauty. As we age, we gain wisdom, clarity, and depth. We should embrace the present phase of life, whatever it may be. Yes, you may have more wrinkles, slower steps, but you also have more knowledge, more to give. Whether it's mentoring the next generation, savoring peaceful moments, or enjoying a well-earned vacation, there is still joy to be found. Look at the full half of the glass. Every season has its own gifts. Learn to savor them. If the philosophy of Albert Camus resonates with you, If his ideas about the absurd, freedom, and creating meaning in a chaotic world spark something inside, don't let that feeling fade. And if this video helps shift your perspective, don't forget to subscribe. Not just to our channel, but to a way of life that embraces the present, confronts reality head-on, and refuses to give up, no matter how absurd things may seem. Because choosing to live fully, honestly, and courageously is the most powerful rebellion of all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for thinking.